If you've ever thought about painting your kitchen cabinets, but you get completely overwhelmed at the thought because you don't know what you need or where to begin, this video is for you. If you're new here, I'm Lena. I'm a busy mom of 3 with a background in real estate and a passion for renovating. Come along with me as I transform our family home and make it flipping gorgeous. This is my kitchen, and I knew from the beginning we'd be replacing the island and countertops, but when it was suggested that I replaced all of the cabinetry, I thought that's crazy and let's just paint these. By painting a test cabinet and putting it up, that will give us a really good visual if this is a green that we would like for a long time or something we can't see ourselves living with. And we're off to the paint store for like the 5th time this week because I just can't decide the right color. Baby's loaded up too. We've got a lot of different colors. Here's the off-white collection from Benjamin Moore. Some really beautiful colors. It's interesting though because things can look so different in these books than when you get a sample. So I highly recommend, once you like a color, getting a physical sample of it to paint on. Start with the pale oak. It's probably right on the back of these, which one is which. And I primed the pieces first with the bin primer. All right, moving on now to Swiss coffee. They're very similar in colors. It's amazing just how like paints that look so similar can actually be very different when the light hits them, or like when you look at the swatch. Originally, I was thinking Swiss coffee is what I'm going to go with, but I got this one just so I was there, so I might as well get 2. I painted these samples on the wall. These are my final 4. This white dove is too white. This is Revere Pewter, which is in the top 2. Creamy white and Edgecombe gray. I think these 2 are my final. And I did paint it directly on it, which is probably not the best color representation. So now I have primed this cabinet and I'm going to paint it on there so we can get a true color. Right there, it doesn't look, but it needs to, this is Revere Pewter. Yeah. Right there, it looks more beige, huh?
It looks very beige, sure. Like how it's initially, I mean, I know it'll dry a little bit darker, but.
Need to go downstairs. We're gonna have some quiet time and rest before the birthday party. No TV. 5 trips to the paint store, 10 color samples, but I think we finally found the perfect one. And we're gonna go with Revere Pewter. You can see I did this test. I narrowed it down to my 2 favorite colors. One was creamy white, one was Revere Pewter. I also did it on the side of the cabinet, but that's my daughter in the background. But once I primed it, it gave it a true color. What are you saying? And this is just too creamy. It's way too creamy. So I think Revere Pewter is gonna be perfect for, this is what happens when you try to make a YouTube video with a 3-year-old, right? Juice boxes. One of the biggest mistakes I made in the past with painting cabinets was not labeling the doors. And then when you're done, you're like, which door goes to what? And it's the hardest puzzle to put back together. So take pictures on your iPhone, make yourself a little handy dandy map, and it will be a lifesaver. There are 44 door fronts in this kitchen, and it took me so much longer to get them off than I'm showing you in the short time-lapse clip. But again, I've learned that the success of any DIY project is in the prep. So taking them off one by one, making sure I'm keeping track of the hardware, labeling them is all going to set me up for success and getting a very professional looking result. I had the help of my husband who tackled the kids. We have kind of a funny relationship in the sense of I handle all the handyman stuff and he handles the kids on the weekends, and it works great for us. So this took me a total of almost a full day to get the door fronts off, tape everything off, but get it prepped so that I could start spraying the door fronts and painting the frames. Okay, now that I have all the cabinet doors off, the next step is going to be degreasing and deglossing them. You can see it has this glaze. So my approach for the cabinets is going to be using a brush and a roller to do the frames because I'm gonna spray the door fronts, but honestly, there's just too much overspray to do it by this. So I'm gonna do that part by hand. We're gonna start using this liquid sandpaper. I'll do the fronts and I'll do all these spaces. And then after we do that, it'll be time to prime. Put the liquid sandpaper on. It's pretty cool. It just takes off the first layer and it feels sandy and it's not messy at all. That's my husband in the background making fun of me in my YouTube video. I'm going to prime it with this, the Bullseye Thin 123 primer, and then we'll be ready to paint. Open this up. The guy at the hardware store shook it up for me, so it should be pretty ready to go. Alright, we are using a 2.5 inch trim brush, very fine. And I would recommend going with a more expensive trim brush, angled, because we don't want a lot of brush marks. So I'm gonna start here and work my way out. I am going to continue to prep. It's taken me like 3 days to get all the prep done, but that's because I only have a few hours a day that my kids are at school, and that's when I try to do everything. So again, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and we're just gonna do it as we can do it. I have these all primed. What I'm going to do is take just a little 80 grit sandpaper and check some of the cabinet doors for where there might be some over drip from the primer. Can you see? Like, right in here. And I want a really smooth surface. So I'm just gonna take this with my hand and kind of go over any little areas that it might have clumped up or I missed or it dripped over. So this is not full-blown sanding. It's just taking this by hand and just getting rid of any of those, like I said, where it might make the surface uneven. Front of my cabinets, there are about 6 drawer fronts that I want to change the hardware on. So right now they had 2 small pools, and I've ordered 1 long 12-inch pool. That's kind of like a new little way to update your cabinets, is doing the really large door pools. So I'm going to do them on about 6 of them. So first I need to fill in the 2 holes I'm no longer going to use. I'm going to do this using this plastic wood filler and a putty knife. You could also use Bondo, but we're going to see if this does the trick because the holes are not that large. Oh, that was the wrong one. And don't do what I just did. Maybe mark the ones that you don't want to do. It's early. My coffee has not set in yet. Some girls get excited about purses. I get excited about power tools and paint sprayers. It's just the most beautiful handbag I've ever gotten. One of the reasons that I feel confident in taking on this massive painting project is using the right tools. So thank you to Wagner for sending me this Flexio. I've never used paint sprayer, never. I have done smaller paint projects, and I'm gonna watch a few YouTube videos. So that's, if you wanna learn anything, you can learn anything on YouTube. And Wagner has some great instructional videos too. Lighter spray gun, more control, cabinets, furniture, interior walls. I am excited. I'm excited to use this baby. Using the Benjamin Moore Reserve. This paint is awesome so far. I did it with brush and a roller last night, and a little bit goes a long way. It's super thick. So for the paint sprayer, I'm gonna test it out at first. We're gonna start with, let's start at about 15. I just wanna test it at first because I'm going to water it down. I don't wanna waste my paint. That's the thing about it. I'll add a little bit more here. Okay, that looks good. Again, first time doing this with a sprayer, guys. So you're learning with me as I learn, which is, I think, pretty cool. And I'll show you any mistakes I make along the way so you can avoid them. Let Lena be your test. We're not gonna see that label after that. All right, so we're gonna add in about 50 mLs of water. I'm gonna stir that up really good. Again, Hopefully that's not too much water. You don't want it too runny. That looks like a pretty good consistency, but because I'm using the finer spray nozzle, we don't want to paint that's too thick and looks clumpy. So we're gonna go with this, see how it turns out. Okay, so got a piece of wood here, we're gonna test it. Now, it said that if I'm spraying upward, the nozzle should be down and facing the rear. Okay, I'm going to start on an airflow of maybe like 6. And this is if you want more paint to come out, but again, it's my first time using this, so we're gonna go towards less paint coming out. Okay, whew. I finally got the settings right. Thank you, Christina from Pretty Distressed, for your video. So I'm doing it at about a 5. I had to make sure my nozzle was down, and I've got a medium amount of things coming out, and that's looking much better. So now I've got another cabinet I'm gonna test it on, not an actual one, but one of the ones that I tested the colors on, just because I wanna see if this is just a piece of plywood. The back of the cabinets are dry. I have to say this is a game changer. I have rolled cabinets. I have hand painted them. This sprayer, life-changing. If you are thinking about painting your cabinets, this is well worth the investment. I think it's around $250, $265, worth every single penny. It's giving it such a smooth finish. It is taking, oh my gosh, hours off of the task of painting 44 cabinets, especially if you have a big kitchen. This is key. This is going to be crucial. This is what's going to help me get the professional look. Plus the paint, I am so happy with. It's drying with this very smooth acrylic type finish. Looks factory-like finish. So I'm excited to get started. It's my new little toy. I'm just gonna get started spraying, and I think I can probably get all these door fronts done in about an hour. Finished spraying the last of the backs. So I'm doing 1 coat of spray on the backs, 2 coats of the top coat, and I've had to split it up because I just don't have enough room. And so I finally got the last little ones with the back coat. So after that, after it dries, we're almost there. And again, I'm just doing a little at a time. Like today, I came back from my in-laws from the weekend, and I just told my husband I needed some time to myself because he was traveling and I had the kids. And again, this is what I do. This is my downtime. This is my relaxing. Some people wouldn't choose this to relax after driving all day, but that's how I do it. I'm coming in to check out how everything has dried so far. My plan is to start moving some of the ones I've already done 2 top coats into the house, maybe put the smaller ones on. And you can see here, I still have some left to spray. I would say setting this up with the 2x4s has worked well for me. I was going to attempt to hang them by putting little hooks. You may have seen that, but with the number of cabinets and how thick the wood was, it just wasn't a good fit. So this has worked out well for me. What, baby? And I got my daughter in here today. She's gonna help me carry some backer. Oh, so pretty. So pretty.
I grabbed one.
Man, the finish too is so nice. That paint just dries with this smooth acrylic finish. Again, I'm using the Benjamin Moore Advance. Finally done painting them all. I am so happy with how this color turned out. The Revere Pewter, it's the perfect taupe that I was going for. So now it's time to put all the cabinets back on. And this is where that handy dandy little map, whoop, upside down, that I made is gonna come in handy because this will tell us exactly where every single cabinet goes back to and we don't have to guess. So we're gonna get started on that. And I got a treat today. My dad is here and he's gonna help me put them back on. Special cameo. You guys are in for a treat. This is the hardware that I'm using. Went with the champagne bronzy color. I ordered these off of Wayfair. They're by Liberty, and they're the champagne bronze. He can't come to my house without us doing a project. It's how we bond. It's what we do. Here are the cabinets before and here are the cabinets after. It's truly incredible how transformative paint can be. Rather than spending thousands of dollars to replace these cabinets, we were able to just salvage them and make them look brand new. The kitchen is light and bright now. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll like this other one. Be sure to click on it in the top right corner.